Hello everyone, welcome to the February 19th League of Legends DFS slate. Sorry for getting this episode a little bit out late. Pretty busy real life at the moment, but I still want to continue to put out content. I know people, whenever I don't put out videos, people ask for them, so even though the view count isn't crazy or anything, I'm still super glad that people kind of care enough about what I have to say that they're asking for the content. So I'll try to do this as much as possible. But as you guys know, I had an ankle surgery a week ago, and I had the 1 week checkup today. So it took a while to kind of go around town and all that stuff with my ankle casted up. So we actually have a super good slate tonight. I'm actually pretty excited for these matchups. I have some pretty strong leans and strong opinions on these games. So we can try to run through the recap kind of quickly. Be sure to let me know in the comments or whatever. Just let me know what you guys want to hear, want to see. If I'm missing stuff, then you guys want me to talk about, or if you guys want to hear me talk less about stuff, also let me know. Like, I don't care. I just kind of talk and that kind of stuff. So just let me know what you guys do and don't want, and I can try to get that whatever information that you guys find useful out there. But I like recapping just because it puts everything into perspective all the time, and we can talk about what we got right, what we got wrong, how we can learn from it, and that kind of stuff. So LPL, pretty much the only league that I talked about at all yesterday. Ended up being a mistake. Feels like a little bit of an anomaly, but we'll talk about that. For the LPL, RA 2-1, Weibo 2-0, EDG 2-0. I don't think there's much to say really. All of these games were kind of went exactly as I anticipated them. So that's, good that we have the solid reads on these teams and all that stuff. Weibo and EDG were decent sized favorites, but I still feel pretty confident about where we stand with these teams and where their skill sets are. So that's good to know that we're kind of in the right lane and thinking of these teams correctly. RA got the job done 2-1 over LGD. Arguably, LGD should have won the third game. I think they were pretty heavily ahead, but RA managed to bring it back. I think for the DFS purposes, it doesn't matter if you went with RA or LGD, they both scored well. So that was a good thing. And luckily, EDG outscored Weibo pretty handily, so we got we had the leverage there, to help us win some cash. I was on the EDG side, and EDG ended up scoring pretty well. I ended up having a pretty good night for making cash. Let's see. I think I entered like $50 and won like 160 last night or something. So pretty solid night. The real money is actually kind of in the LCK, which is surprising considering how much of a rant I went on yesterday about kind of Xing out the LCK at the moment. Let's see. Try to find these scoreboards because they were pretty crazy. I don't even know where they are. There they are. So in the telecom wars of SKT T1, SK Telecom against KT Roaster. I don't know where the telecom comes in, but I think KT is like another telecom company in Korea, so that's why it's dubbed the telecom wars between KT and T1. It was a crazy fiesta in game one. Both teams got huge kill totals, 25-22 in the LCK. You don't see that often, especially in a T1 series. Keria and Gumayushi are just looking like the absolute best bottom lane in the world, and it feels like it's not even close. Off the top of my head, I can't think of another bottom lane that's quite this dominant. Maybe it's because of the lack of talent in the LCK. That'll be interesting to see them at MSI for sure. That'll be, Exciting. But Gumayushi's looking like a top 5 AD. Keria is looking like probably the best support in the world at the moment. So super exciting for the T1 bottom lane. Faker, Wunner, and Zeus just kind of do their own thing. They're not asked a lot of. So I will continue to say, like, I'm not liking how T1 are winning these games. They're pretty sloppy. They're getting hard carried by Gumayushi and Keria. But, I mean, at the end of the day, they're winning. I think they're undefeated 8-0 now. Maybe 7-0, 9-0. I don't know. But the point is they're doing really well standings-wise, and Gumayushi Keria very strong. They got great kill totals, but none of the players had great kill participations individually. I believe the Optimal last night had just a Keria one-off. So that's pretty funny. I believe Keria ended with like 90 DraftKings points, which is crazy for support. So I don't know, maybe something to keep in mind. And then over in Gen G, I believe it actually did kind of come out that the Gen G roster should be returning with Doran, Peanut, Chovy, Ruler, and Lehens. They had a pretty solid game 2 here, scoring really well. Chovy did well. I believe Chovy was in the Optimal somehow. But Peanut, Doran, like they all did pretty well. So maybe I would kind of jump the gun a little bit on Xing out the LCK. We can continue to look at them, but I still am not a huge fan of where the LCK leaves us. I feel like this is kind of more of the an exception to the rule, if that makes sense. So a lot to talk about tonight, so we can get straight into looking ahead to the February 19th games. Yep. So first series up, OMG WE. I'm going to do the tried and true write your own odds method. I encourage you guys to do this as well. This is huge beneficial to how you perceive the game versus how you view the game in the Vegas odds market, and then you just compare the two. If you like a team a lot more than the Vegas odds do, then that the decision is made for you. It kind of takes out removes all the mess, it feels like. So this is one of my favorite things to do. Again, I want to say this is not trying to predict the odds. This is how I would price these games. So first one up, OMG WE. I think this is like maybe a little bit of a hot take, but I feel like OMG is like the perfect gatekeeper team at the moment. And I feel like WE are just like kind of overrated, it feels like. Like people don't rate them highly, but they're still kind of overrated. One thing I do want to note with Team WE, this is something I said similarly to RA yesterday. But if we look at who WE have played, they've played Weibo, arguably top 5, V5, arguably top 5. They lost to TES, pretty bad team to lose to, but again, understandable. LNG, arguably top 5. JDG, arguably top 5. EDG, arguably top 5. I know I've said that for like 8 teams now, but and then they got the 2-1 over LGD. So it's like, on one hand, they've lost to pretty much like the top tier of teams. Who did I just lift off? Weibo, EDG, V5, JDG, BLG. Who else did they play? So yeah, JDG, top, Weibo, V5, EDG. You guys get the point. The point being that WE have yet to play pretty much anyone that isn't like an elite team. So that is kind of concerning, because it's hard to get a barometer and a gauge of where Team WE is if you consider that all they've done is lose to elite teams. I mean, you could be a middling team and lose to elite teams. You could be a trash team and lose to elite teams. So it's hard to tell, really. Like I think JDG, EDG, LNG, V5, Weibo, these are all really, really good teams. So losing to them, it doesn't tell you much. I'd argue that the only 2 series that kind of matter here is the top esports one and then the LGD one, because I believe LGD is a bottom 3 team, and I believe WE or TES is like a bottom 5, bottom 7 team. They're kind of lower still on my on my spectrum in terms of LPL skills. So I see the case for WE. Don't get me wrong. This is one where it does concern me. So my confidence level isn't the craziest here. But this is more so I just love kind of the OMG side. I hate being like a match history guy, but it's kind of like one of the easiest things to use to check quickly. So they've lost to JDG, that's fine. They lost to V5 in a 3-gamer, that's fine. They beat TES, pretty normal. Then they've lost to BLG, OMG, or they lost to BLG, EDG. So pretty similarly there as well. But the difference between the teams OMG and WE is that OMG have the win over TT, win over IG, win over LGD, or sorry, they lost LGD. So that's a little concerning, but that feels more of like a blip on the radar, more like a one-off thing. If I remember watching that series, I think that was a little bit of an anomaly, but I think just kind of using the eye test here and looking at how I view the overall talent of these teams, I just feel like WE is more in the bottom part here. Again, their record feels a little deceptive, but I still feel like overall their team skill level is in this bottom part. And I feel like OMG are rightfully here in the middle. Just kind of a super long-winded way of saying I like OMG and I like them a decent bit. And I expect OMG to make like kind of a statement here. Again, there's just a little bit of concern there with the WE skill level that we don't have a true barometer. Like they've only played elite teams, so it's hard to tell who are they better than, who are they worse than, when all we know is they're worse than good teams, So that's kind of my point there. Man, I need to get better at summarizing things because, whatever. The second series, BLGAL. It should be noted that I believe these are just the regular rosters for OMGWE. Shanji, Aki, Cream, Abel, Cold. Again, super high on Cream. Love him a lot. I feel like Abel and Cold are serviceable. Shanji is pretty good. Aki seems to be like a weak part, but he's okay. Then over on WE, they do look a little bit better with Beishong coming in for VU, I believe, who used to play. They do have some players, like I don't think Bu and Beishong are that problematic. They're decent, but I feel like Shanks, Xing, and Kadaya are just not up to snub really, so I expect the bottom lane difference between Abel, Cold versus Xing and Kadaya to be the difference there as well. And over in the BLG series, BLGAL, this is actually like pretty interesting. Again, before I talk about anyone's legend, I do want to let everyone know beforehand. If you guys know what I'm about to say, then I'm a fan of anyone's legend. I openly admit that. I've been a fan of this team, formerly when they were known as Rogue Warriors. They just had a super unique and aggressive play style. It was super suitable for DFS, and I just kind of fell in love with them that way. They were always just kind of my underdog pick, and I like them a lot. So I do want to just let everyone know that before we talk about this series, that maybe there is some bias, but how that stuff shakes out. Then for BLG, they're bringing Doggo back in to start again. This is super weird. Like, I am someone who was advocating for Doggo. Like, I think Doggo deserves the chance and deserves the starting job. I feel like he's been performing super well, but it's just concerning for me. When they lose one time and then sub in Uzi for Doggo, I don't know. Like I saw some other people on Twitter talk about this last time, like in the last series. So BLG lost. They sub out Doggo, bring in Uzi, and then it felt like the other team started playing a lot worse. I don't want to like kind of out people because maybe like tweeting during the games is like a different thing because like tilt and like that kind of stuff does play into it. So I don't want to like call people out or anything, but the point is it kind of looked like the other team was throwing a little. Like maybe they weren't intentionally, but it looked like they were just kind of playing bad. So the point being, BLG just kind of look like in disarray, but I don't understand why. Like, they look like a super elite, solid team, look like great players coming together, and then they swap out their like new signing in Doggo for the veteran who everyone loves in Uzi. I don't know. So it just feels like there's a little bit of disarray there on the BLG side, and then on Anyone's Legend, they've actually just been like playing really well since the break. They beat Ultra Prime and RA in 3. Those aren't necessarily great wins because I think Ultra Prime and RA are in that lowest tier in the LPL at the moment. They're just super bad teams. But then we saw AL take a game off of LNG. We saw IG beat BLG. So it's like there's so much stuff up in the air here. Oops, I got to the wrong tab, but luckily I didn't see the odds. So it's just tough. I think BLG are going to be the deserved favorite. It's just how much do you want to buy into it? And like, how much stock do you put into AL looking good since the break? How much stock do you want to put into BLG subbing in their ADs after one loss? You know, it's just like that kind of like almost narrative-y driven stuff. Like, I will say AL has looked good, like kind of objectively recently, but it's still like they're going to game 3 and barely getting the win over bad teams. So it's like you feel like BLG have to kind of get the job done here. We'll go, something like this here. And I mean, you guys know me. I'm super excited for this series as a whole. I feel like this is going to be a crazy, bloody series, like a super good one. You're going to want to be on one side of for sure. It's just going to kind of be down to what side are you going to be on. You guys know me. I'm a fan of AL. I'm going to be cheering for them. I'm going to be probably on them for DFS. I feel like this is going to be like a pretty close competitive series. I think you could argue that the AL side is the side that ends up doing well for DraftKings purposes, even in like a 2-1 loss. Like, I feel like that's definitely on the table. So I feel like that's fine. And then probably coming in here with my super hot fire take on JDG Top Esports. So I did get spoiled and see the odds for this one earlier when I was checking out lineups and stuff. I just don't understand how Top Esports are getting so much respect still. Like, they've so since the break, they've come back. They've come back with 2 new players. They have Wayward in top, and then Market support. They lost to 2-0 to RNG, not a big deal, and they beat Thunder Talk. And then it's like, after they beat Thunder Talk, are we just supposed to? Granted, they did beat the living crap out of Thunder Talk. Like, that was not a close series remotely, but that seemed to be a lot more Thunder Talk throwing more than anything. I'm not implying they threw like intentionally, but it seemed like they played really badly is what I should say. Like, it seemed like it was a lot more of Thunder Talk looking really bad, more so than anything. So that's my that's kind of where I'm at there. So it's like, why is TES still getting so much respect? I don't understand. And as you guys know, JDG is a team I've been super high on. They've been doing pretty well. They got the job done over OMG. They got WE, and they haven't played for a while since before then, but like, I think this is a super solid JDG team. I feel like they've been looking really good, and I feel like Top Esports have kind of been like reeling. They just still seem so discombobulated. Like, I'm not sure the word for it, but they still just don't seem comfortable playing, and I'm not sure what it's attributed to. Like, they've already swapped everyone except for their mid and ADC, and we're in week 5. Like, they've tried out Xiaopong instead of Qian. They've tried Zoom and Wayward in top. They've had Mark and I don't even remember their support, Zoe its support. Like, it just feels like they're trying anything and everything and nothing's working. They just have like no leadership, no voice. They don't look coherent at all. And I think JDG is like a really perfect, solid team built to beat this top esports roster at the moment. So maybe after those strong words, I'd argue that the price should be wider, maybe. But I'm still going to give top esports some like name value, respect here, in the odds market at least. But we swap over. We have OMG minus 325. Okay, that's a little surprising if I'm honest. I do think OMG are probably getting like. So this is something that I think happens in the LPL a lot, is people look at like regular season standings too much, or like standings in their record too much. It feels devoid of context, and because of the same reasons I was talking about earlier. So we look at WE's 1-6 record, but they've lost to JDG, EDG, LNG, Weibo, and V5. So that's 5 of their 6 losses are against really, really strong teams. Their loss against Top Esports is bad. We'll just call it what it is. And then their 1 win is over LGD, the other really low team. So it feels like there's a lot of stock put into the like record here. It feels like in these odds, like I feel like similarly to yesterday when I said we don't know a lot about Rare Atom, they could be decent. Like there's a lot more upside, and I think like there's a lot more unknown with upside on the WE side as compared to the OMG side. We've seen OMG play against a lot of high-end teams, middle-end teams, and low-end teams, so we have a good barometer of where OMG are. And there's just a lot more unknown about Team WE. Put it this way, I think this is a good analogy. So let's say you're playing like a sports game, Madden, FIFA, anything like that, and you're doing a draft. You're drafting players, and there's OMG, we kind of know. We know what attributes, we know what is going to happen with OMG. For WE, the only thing we know, there's just a lot more unknown there, pretty much. Like it could be a super high overall player, like how I'm talking with the analogy, or it could be super low. There's just a lot of unknown there. So it could be high, it could be low. We just don't know. The upside, I think, is there with WE. I think objectively, this is where the odds thing can get tough, is because I think if you look at these, how I've priced it and how Vegas have priced it, you would think I should be going with Team WE. I think Team WE is mispriced here. I think maybe you should be playing them. Here's the thing that it's hard to, like, I like OMG and I feel like should I be playing them, and then will I be playing them is two different things. It's just kind of tough there. So I think WE is a pretty good underdog spot here. I think specifically when you look at players like Biu Beishong, I guess maybe you could argue Shanks is decent. I haven't liked much from Xing and Kadaya. But I think WE are live, especially through the top side, the Biu Beishong Shanks. I think this is like a pretty close series. So maybe this is one where I just kind of X out because my heart is telling me OMG, my brain is telling me WE. So maybe I just kind of leave this one alone. I think objectively, Team WE is probably the side to be on. Although, if you want to be like me and leave it off, if you want to go OMG, that's fine too. Again, this is just like why I do this pricing stuff, how I make my own odds and then compare it. Is it just because I just feel like WE are kind of disrespected here. Maybe I'm talking myself into going with WE. I don't know. We'll have to think about that when we look at the slate as a whole later. But for now, we'll leave it at, I feel like this is kind of weirdly priced. BLG AL, I get the odds here. BLG are still like an elite team, and although there has been, like I said, the problems with BLG AL, like how with Doggo being subbed out for Uzi, and like the kind of uncertainty there, BLG is still just a much better team. So we look at BLG here. So they've beaten Weibo, super solid win. They got the 2-1 over OMG, pretty decent win. They got the win over RA, not impressive really. The 2-1 loss to BLG, that's fine. They got the 2-1 loss to LNG. Again, another close series where it's understandable that they lost. So maybe it's shaping out to be where BLG's at the bottom of that elite tier, and maybe AL's kind of decent. AL's looked okay. I get the odds and the price here. I think this is definitely the esport or the DFS game you want to be on the most is BLG AL. I feel like this is we just saw BLG get into an absolute fiesta, and we know AL can fiesta anything. So BLG AL, you're gonna want to pick a side here, I think, for sure. It's just tough. I feel like AL have been playing well. Like, again, this is something, I don't remember when I used this analogy, but it just feels like kind of AL are on the upswing. It feels like BLG are on the downswing a little. So I'll just kind of buy into what I think is maybe like the better side here with anyone's legend. Then the top esports JDG one. I kind of get these odds. Like, I feel like top esports are like perennially, there we go, overvalued in the betting market. I'm not sure like if it's name value or what exactly it is, but I feel like top esports are pretty consistently overvalued there. I like JDG a good bit here. They're probably my favorite to go with. But we'll talk about these going forward. I feel like there's nothing really to analyze here. I feel like the odds are kind of similar. I think we're in the same boat. I just feel like JDG are probably a little bit better than the I feel like JDG is better than we're giving them credit for, and I feel like top esports is worse than they get credit for it also, if that makes sense. So that's where I'm leaning at the moment. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I've already kind of ranted a lot about in the LPL, so I don't know if I want to talk about the LCK necessarily. We could look at it quickly. Hanwha Life, DRX, KDF Bro. I'm not touching KDF Bro. There's just no fantasy goodness, it feels like, in this at all. Hanwha, DRX, we can think about. DRX have definitely looked like the much better team lately. They've been picking it up. DRX was a team I was high on preseason. Then they let me down, and it looks like now they're coming back in that vein. So I like DRX here. I feel like they're not in a bad spot. Maybe you can get some decent like leverage ownership spot like here, because a lot of people are like myself and kind of X out the LCK altogether. So it's for the LCK, it's DRX or nothing. We can look at their stats in the like how they perform as a whole in the team. So that'll be it was DRX and Hanwha, right? Yep. So the combined kills per minute is sitting at about a 0.6. Those are going to get blown out of the water here. We have BLG, AL, then we have OMG, WE, and then we have, what was the last series? Top JDG. So as you guys could see, the upside in the LCK, 0.6, the downside in the LPL, 0.8. Like, it's just not even close. So again, I'm just going to continue to X out the LCK. If slates like last night happen where the LCK breaks a slate, then it happens. It just seems like in the long term, playing the LCK players is maybe like fine for cash games and stuff, but I'm just not going to be a part of it. We can check for losses. I like seeing teams who die a lot in losses. OMG, JDG, BLG. BLG's up there a good amount, but it looks like all teams still kind of battling it out. Over for wins, who's doing well in wins? OMG are doing pretty well in wins. AL are doing well in wins. JDG doing well in wins. So pretty much all those teams there I like to see. It's going to be tough to separate a lot of these teams here. Man, this is a pretty interesting slate. So very rarely do I like multiple spots on a slate like this. But I don't know. This is kind of tough. We can double check the lineups here. So it's Wayward, OTN, Knight, Jackie Love, Mark, 369. Okay. So it's pretty normal here for everyone. So this might be like a rare multi-lineup night for me because I actually like a lot of these spots. Um, like I said, typically I am a single entry one lineup guy. I don't want to overexert myself and play spots that I don't like. And um, although I am profitable long term, this is also kind of something I do for fun. I focus more on like regular sports betting, just using uh, like a positive expected value betting rather than like sports betting where it comes down to um, like opinion. I just follow the facts and odds and lines and stuff. So that's mainly where I make my hay. But um, this might be a multiple lineup night for me. The question is going to come down to so I like all three of my teams are live. Like all three of these games are pretty live. There's not like a separator here. Like it seems like so like OMG WE both doing pretty well. JDG Top Esports doing well. Anyone Legends BLG, they're both doing well. These all feel like they average out about the same. Um, Again, in wins, OMG doing great, AL doing decent, JDG doing great. In losses, it's looking like BLG give up the most, but they're all so condensed. Like this could go anyway. So I can say for certainty I like the JDG side. This is probably my favorite. This is probably my most confident side out of the whole slate. BLG AL. This is tough. I see both sides of this. If you guys wanted to, like, all right, here, I'll say this. If I'm removing myself, if I removed all emotions from this slate, if these players didn't have names and if these team names didn't exist, then I think BLG WE would probably be like the way to go. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I will do that. I don't know. I might end up having to like tweet out my picks a little bit later. I'll give some picks here. Like I'm definitely going JDG over Top Esports. I'm not going to waver on that. I know that for sure. But I don't know. Oh, another thing here on the BLG side, Doggo is priced as the underdog, so maybe that enables some different things there. But again, there's like kind of substitute risk where AL could win the first game and then Doggo subbed out. I think everything should be fine with the players in the OMG WE series. I don't know. This is tough, guys. You might have to end up making some of your own decisions and where you guys want to go tonight. I'm just trying to like mull it over quickly in my head so I can give out something. But it's tough. Like AL have been looking pretty decent, but it still feels like BLG is a significantly better team. All right, I'm gonna take the shot. I'm gonna go with anyone's legend here. I probably like him 2-1. If anything, I could even see anyone's legend getting there for DFS purposes in a defeat 2-1. I feel like this is definitely the series you want to mainly be a part of. I just see a lot more upside here. We saw BLG get into absolute fiesta like a couple nights ago, and anyone's legend always are down to fiesta. So, and then I feel like Top Esports JDG could be a little bit slower, but I still like JDG a good bit there. They all have upside. That's the thing. I might end up doing like a good amount of multiple lineup-ing tonight. I'm not sure. I'll have to kind of think about that myself a little bit later. But OMG WE, again, it feels like objectively I should probably be on the WE side. It feels like OMG are kind of getting a little overrated here, and it feels like OMG are a little underrated. But I guess we can kind of just side with the known quantity of the OMG side. Man, it doesn't feel great. I'll just say that much. I expect OMG to be relatively popular. How much? They're pretty expensive, so I don't know. GDG are pretty cheap. I'd imagine maybe they're the popular side. I'm not sure. I'll say this every time. I'm not an ownership guy, so maybe not best to listen to me on that. But I think the point still stands. Like all three of these LPL games are looking pretty good for kills and game and scores. They should be pretty interesting series. So I'm gonna have probably more money than I should down tonight. I'll side with OMG. I just feel like maybe they've shown a little bit more, like in terms of we kind of know that they're a middling team at least, and WE just haven't shown a lot. Again, I don't want to repeat myself too many times, but when you look at that Team WE match history and you only see defeats to elite teams, it's kind of tough to gauge where they are as a whole in the league. So I'll go with OMG. Probably 2-1. I don't know. That's a close series, I think. I think WE, I feel like a lot of the upside is there with WE. And if we were to see WE get the win tonight, I think other people would be surprised. I don't think I necessarily would be. So that's kind of where I'm at. AL, BLG, I'll go with the AL underdog shot. I feel like, again, they're kind of swinging upwards. They've been looking pretty good and cohesive as a team. And BLG, I just feel like there's just a weird thing going on there with Doggo and Uzi that I don't like. So I'll go with the AL side, and then I like JDG a good bit. JDG borderline feels like my lock of the night. I don't like doing that because it implies like JDG can't lose. I mean, they definitely can. It just feels like they have a really good recipe to beat the top esports team. So like I'm probably locking in JDG and splitting it between OMG and Anyone's Legend for like kind of the rest of what I'm looking at. Again, you're going to want like all 6 of these teams are live. I don't know kind of how else to say it, but there's a lot of good spots. It's very rare to happen. So I don't know. We can look at teams here. So yeah, we kind of got everything we need to know about teams. It kind of looks like all 3 series are live. So yeah, we'll put in the player information for AL, OMG, and JDG. So that brings up this. So we have Betty, Forge, Xiaohao, Maple's not playing, and then we have Chocho and ZDZ down at the bottom. So it looks like AL maybe are a decent secondary stack. We know Betty's kill share is going to be through the roof. Yeah, looks like Betty, Abel, and Hope all there. It's funny how that works. Cream there, Maple. Yeah, it's Maple starting still, right? Nope, it's Forge, yeah. Just in one ear at the other. So we have Betty, Abel, Hope, Cream, and Kanavi. I'm going to put this in my notepad. This is something I like to do. I like to look at who is highest in kill participation and kill share because we know it's going to run through them most likely. So Betty, Abel, Hope, Cream, Kanavi. And then for kill participation, it is Betty. Love that. Missing, Forge, Xiaohao, Kanavi. So based off of this list, obviously supports are never going to be in the kill share thing. Top laners are going to be rarely there, but they are sometimes. So I just like to look at where the points are going to come from if people win. So it looks like Betty is doing great, highest kill participation and kill share, probably like a great captain option, obviously. Then we look Kanavi, both there in kill share and kill participation, so he's going to be a great jungle option. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. And then again, one thing I like to do is I like to look at a grouping of teams. So we could see Anyone's Legend are kind of grouped up here together as a team. Again, Maple's not playing, but Betty, Forge, and Xiaohao all up there together. So it seems like obviously they like to group up, team fight, do that kind of stuff. And that produces great scores overall. So then overall as a team, it looks like JDG are coming in second with missing Kanavi, Hope up there as well. then OMG are kind of down here together, and then looks like some like random one-offs of the like other players. This is gonna be Chocho, Yagao down here, 369, and ZDZ. Not great for top laners, although Shanji actually does pretty well here in the participation department. So maybe there's things where you can do with like, I don't know, Betty, like stacking anyone's legend, then going with Hope and Shanji as your one-offs, doing one-offs like that. Looks like Shanji does much better than the other top laners. If you guys find it easier to sort by position, you guys can do that as well. Again, I have this short linked in the description because it is like a super long link. So it already comes in with the tournaments listed. All you got to do is change your teams like how I'm doing it here, and you guys can get this information as well. I just like to do it this way because typically you can search LPL and LCK, and you can't do that on Oracle's Elixir. That's the only complaint there. So yeah, looks like Shanji is significantly better. We could just run quickly by position by position. Looks like, yep, Shanji is significantly better than the other top laners. Maybe a good one-off option. For junglers, Xiaohao, Kanavi, Aki, they're all pretty decent. So, they're all fine to play in your stacks. Kill participation here from mid laners. Looks like Forge is doing pretty well. Man, Forge is 50% win rate, so they're actually a pretty different team there with Forge. That's something to keep in mind, maybe. Then we have Cream, and then I think this is a significant enough drop off for Yagao to maybe look to not get to him. I would definitely try to prioritize Forge and Cream there. Kill participation for ADs. We know Betty is going to be so up there. He's a significant part of that team. Hope and Able. These are decent kill participation numbers, but it's mainly about the kill share as well. So love all three of those. Then for supports, it looks like Missing is significantly above Cold and Chocho. But again, these are still pretty solid numbers. I kind of want to throw in... typically, I would say 60% is about my cutoff. I think under 60 is pretty tough to deal with. So I feel like everybody is fine except for 369 and ZDZ. I kind of want to throw in a control group. Let's compare to what's like a decently balanced team. Let's try RNG maybe. So as more as like a control, we could see Bin all the way down there. That's bad. Ming 65, Wei 66, Yahoo 70, Gala 68. So yeah, that seems more about right. But as you can see, we have kind of like an anomaly here with these teams, but it seems pretty condensed. So whoever you're on, you just kind of hope that they team fight and win. Shanji looks like to be a good one-off option, I think. Maybe we'll throw DRX in here just to get a look. Again, this is why I like looking at the LCK, or this, like how I have it set up here. Oh yeah, these are going to bring in the sub one-offs, so we can try to look past that. So Deft, wow, huge kill participation, huge kill share. Maybe he's worth getting in there as well. Barrel there as well. And it looks like after the DRX bottom lane, it kind of falls off a cliff. So, maybe DRX is a decent secondary stack there with Deft and Barrel. Something to keep in mind. I still don't think I'm going to end up getting there, but that's good information to have maybe. Looks like King in down there, but he's doing pretty okay. Zika doing pretty bad. Pioshik doing pretty bad. So I think DRX is live as a secondary stack with Deft and Barrel. Maybe that's something you guys want to consider as well, but I think that'll be it for me today. I don't know how long I've been talking, but it feels like it's been a while. But I think this is a super interesting slate, super deserving of a longer video, and I'm pretty excited for tonight. I think this is probably going to be a rare night where I have multiple lineups. I'm a single entry guy. I play probably I don't know. Funds vary, but typically around like $30 to $50, maybe depending on what tournaments are up and what stuff I feel like entering. So this might end up being one of those nights where I get there with I don't know, $300, core teams, maybe that DRX stuff is pretty intriguing there with Deft and Barrel. I could see using them as a secondary stack with a team like Anyone's Legend. Although it'll be tough. We can look at like pricing here. I guess we could do this easy. BLG big favorites. I understand that. DRX is a pretty affordable. Yeah, Deft and Barrel are pretty cheap. So that's where I'm leaning. If I'm quickly to kind of summarize, recap, in terms of what games I'm looking to target, I think BLG AL number 1. Then it's probably like tied in the second, third spot between OMG, Team WE, and Top Esports JDG. Although my slight lean, I guess, would be the Top Esports JDG series. I wonder how these are, what the over-unders are looking like. I'd imagine these are both like 27.5. They don't even have them listed. That makes sense. Then I would say a fourth option with the DRX Hanwha series, and then Kwangdong Fredit all the way down at the bottom. Don't like that one at all. It doesn't feel like there's a reason to get there necessarily. So yeah, super exciting. The teams I like JDG a good bit. They seem like the safe option for me. I know they're not priced like that necessarily, but that just seems like the good spot to go for me, at least. Then I'm taking the underdog shot with Anyone's Legend. I feel like they're, again, upswinging, BLG kind of downswinging. But if you want to be on the BLG side, I wouldn't blame you at one bit. Kind of the same story with OMG Team WE, but I'm going to go with the OMG and kind of the known quantity there. We know that OMG are at least decent. They've looked pretty solid in some of their games. The only thing we know from WE is that they lose to elite teams, so that puts a lot of question marks around their overall status. So I'll go with OMG 2-1, but again, if you want to take the WE shot, because if the things I said resonated with you, if you guys want to take the WE underdog shot, I think that is perfectly fine as well. I'm leaving Kwangdong Fredit alone. Don't like anything there. Again, I like the DRX side with the Deft and Barrel secondary stack seems to be pretty good because the numbers there were so strong. So that's where I'm riding today. Should be a super fun, interesting slate. Hopefully the things break our way. They did last night. Hopefully they can do again. I'm really liking kind of where we're at this far in the League of Legends stuff. As always, I keep my record and predictions and stuff updated in the description. I'm not sure. I think the overall record's obviously going to be inflated because when I do pick big favorites, they count just the same, but that's why I segment them. I have big favorites, small underdogs, big underdogs. I have them segmented kind of like that for that reason. So I've been doing pretty good, I think. So hopefully we can continue tonight to make some money. I like taking the underdog shots in Anyone's Legend. I feel like OMG and JDG should get the job done. If you're looking for a cash game lineup, I think getting that DRX bottom lane in there is probably a good option. Maybe pair them up with the JDG. I'm not sure how that would look. But again, probably a rare multi-lineup night for me. If you guys are doing that as well, I think loading up on these LPL games is probably a pretty good option. Probably have a good night if you guys can get the right combo as well. So yeah, looking forward to tonight. I know personally I'm going to have a busy night. I still have to record my Call of Duty and CSGO video for tomorrow, but I'm feeling pretty good at the moment. So I'm glad we can get that out, and hopefully we have a solid night all together. At least for my League of Legends stuff, cashed yesterday, made up for the Call of Duty and CSGO losses. So not ideal there, but that'll be it for me tonight. Let's have a quick look at tomorrow. Not tomorrow, I guess it would be the next day after, but so RATT, EDG, IG, LNG, RNG, those are pretty solid games. I'd expect those will be interesting to talk about when we get there. So looking like another solid slate tomorrow. We can talk about those when that happens, but that'll be it for me tonight. Hopefully you guys got some information out of the video today, and I will see you guys tomorrow.